Good afternoon. This is the LouRaePodcast. I'm your host, Austin Course, and today I have Tim O'Connell. He's an artist here in Louisville, Kentucky, and we're happy to have him on the show. Tim, thank you for coming in.
Oh, good. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a big opportunity for me.
Yeah. So how long have you been an artist now?
There's, I guess, a difference between, how long I've been, let's say, considering myself an artist versus an artist, because I've been an artist my whole life. As a small kid, I did art and drew things, and people liked it. As far as serious, it's 5 years I've been actively pursuing now that I consider myself an artist.
So you're mostly based in Louisville?
Yes. Although with the advent of Facebook and Instagram, every post is worldwide. So yeah, I'm born and raised in Louisville. I'll probably die in Louisville, but in the meantime, my art gone places that I've never been through the wonder of Facebook and FedEx. People commission art that I've never met. One guy had me do 10 houses that he has bought through the years, portraits of houses. He lives in Texas, and I have no idea who this guy is, but he sent me a wall of my art. There's 10 different drawings on it, and he likes what I do, and I like how he likes it, so that's a good thing.
Tell me a little bit about that. You grew up in Louisville, and you also draw the houses here?
Yes. Grew up in Germantown on Shelby Street. Went to the little Catholic church there, St. Elizabeth, right by Czech. I know I'm throwing landmarks out there, but if you live in Louisville, you know where Czechs is, so you know where I grew up. One of my strong suits is doing houses. People have me do houses. They move out, they'll have me do it. Realtors have me do them. But I've done probably 200 or more shotgun houses in Germantown. I mean, my goal would be to be on every house in Germantown. It never happened, but that's a goal. So I've done all the bars in Germantown, Four Pegs, the Pearl, Czechs, Old Hickory, Redbud, Hawks, Monarch. I've done St. Elizabeth. So again, I am Germantown. And that'll always be like that.
What was it like growing up there?
Oh, great. I mean, it was a place where, all your friends were there. You knew everybody that lived around you, and they knew you. So it was a tight little community. I spent a lot of time on other people's front porches in my youth, just watching traffic go by, that kind of stuff. But everything you did was neighborhood involved. Monday nights was the women played volleyball up in the schoolyard. Wednesday nights, the men played volleyball up in the schoolyard. Sunday was church. Tuesday was bingo. Everything was involved with your neighborhood. Yeah, it means a lot to me. And, I appreciate the fact that people not only want my art in their house, but I appreciate the fact that they let me capture childhood, recapture it.
And that's kind of where it all started, in that kind of childhood, like finding those comics. I remember you telling me, like comic book prizes and things like that.
My cousins had a big family. Mom had 6 sisters, 2 brothers, and we were the smallest family out of all of them. So there's 3 of us. I'm the oldest. So all my cousins were down there, and my mom and dad used to, when they would go out on Friday night or whatever, we'd spend the weekend with my aunts, one of the many, and my older cousins were always having me draw stuff. They would have me reproduce the pirate that's in the back of the comic books, or the Bambi, and then we would go to the post office and mail the letter, and it was kind of a big deal back in those days.
And then when you were in high school, you kind of started this little business with clocks, right?
Well, that was after high school. In high school, I did art, but I went to Catholic school. and we didn't do art until the senior year. I won the art award at DeSales as far as being the touted, I guess, the best artist. And probably again, there's I was one of 100, but got a plaque for it, and it was a big deal in my family because my mom got to go to the dean's dinner. I'm not going to say it set a tone for the future, but I finally realized that maybe I was pretty good at it, and maybe people finally gave me props that I never had garnered before. So as far as the clocks, though, I started doing that later in life. I was working at a BMW repair shop, and I would take my lunch break, and to back up a little bit, the clocks, I would take my art and have prints made and put in the clock, disassemble the clock, put it back together with my art in it, and I was approaching schools and businesses and doing their logos, the school's mascots, that kind of stuff. And the bookstore would end up buying them. I was in St. X and Trinity, Butler, North Hardin. They were, doing them not only out of the bookstore, some of the sports teams were using them for fundraisers, stuff like that. And it was, good. I did well with it. But again, as I stated, I was doing it while I was working. So the difficulty factor came in with finding time to not only do my clocks, but to promote them. So I ended up letting that go because I wanted more than what I was getting out of it, I think, but I had my little labels. I called them the O clocks. My last name's O'Connell, so I used the OC, and I made them. I called them the O clocks. I did a whole series of bears. I called them the little Timmy bears, and people were buying them. And one company bought a railroad bear. I did, and then it was a green frog art. I don't know who, but they were based out of New York. But they ended up having me sign a number, 1,000 of them, and they made prints. That is, they were selling like my design on borders for kids' rooms and wallpaper and curtains, all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. And I was like, I'm in a magazine, in my little design was in there. I was like, fuck yeah, I was like, that was good. And I would get a commission check or, quarterly payments on it, on what I don't know. That's so long ago, I don't even know what's going on with it or if they're even around anymore. But that was probably my first step into legitimacy, I felt like. Like, I'm in a book, man. So that was a big deal right there. But
yeah. That gave you a lot of confidence and made you feel like you could really be an artist.
Yeah, and I could open it up, go to page 3, man. That's me there, that was good. That was a boost. So felt good about that one.
So where'd you go from there?
Well, I hit a little wall for a while because I got to the point where when the clock started, I started realizing it was more work than what I was getting back, not only financially, but, mentally, because, I was working my ass off, man. And I was selling them, and I was doing good, but it was taking too long. And I'm like, if I wanted to become, let's say, a professional artist, I could never live on what I'm making with these things, and so I realized that, maybe I needed to try to find either another outlet or just let it lay for a while, and then I started having kids. They were taking up all my time, and I quit drinking. And so that was like a huge adjustment. I quit doing drugs. So my whole life was like not only changing, it was like somebody took a scooper and turned me over, man. And it's like they're mixing everything up, and it was not turmoil, but it was, I had to make some self adjustments. So that made my art sit there for a minute. Once my kids came along, and I realized I had time at home on my hands, I ended up drawing, teaching myself to work with ink and stuff like that, because I still don't know as far as a lot of technique, and I don't know a lot of the training that artists are supposed to know. Everything I do is like, the first time I do it, I realize how I fuck that up, and then I change it, and then I make it a little bit better, and then it's like walking. You become better, running faster as you go, and so I'm really good at some things, and I have no idea what to do on other things. Luckily, I'm involved in a few things where I'm meeting other artists that are really good. I'm like, they're legit. I'm a wannabe, but they know how to be. And so I watch what they do. I see how they do it. I try to copy their techniques and stuff, and it's helping. I'm getting better. I know I'm getting better. I can feel it, man. I can feel it.
Yeah, so you're entirely self-taught.
Yes, entirely. And I probably learned the wrong way, but I coached volleyball for 20 years. I know all the jargon, all the lingo. I know that, you're supposed to hold your platform a certain way, and you're supposed to use your hands a certain way, and you're supposed to have certain footwork when you you cross, step, pop. There's all kinds of stuff that you're supposed to do, and there's some kids that do it totally wrong, but they're really fucking good, and you're like, if it's working, why fuck with it? And so my art's the same way. I mean, I could take a picture and I could reproduce it. In a lot of cases, it looks exactly like it. And so, even though I don't know exactly what I'm doing, I'm apt at it enough where I can do it. But every day's a new day. I mean, I learn every day, and again, that's where Facebook and all the Instagram comes in, because I can sit there and punch in my favorite artist that I think's really good. Comes up, Jen did this today, man. It looks really good. I think I'm gonna try that. Or Ken Burney, he the guy who did one of the Derby posters or whatever. I see what he does, and I think it's all stealing, and I'm good at it. I'm a chameleon, dude. I am. I feel like I'm a chameleon. I can change colors and fit in any room.
I remember you talking about, like, you always have an evolution. Like, you're always trying to get better. You're always trying to learn, and that's what you take from other people.
Yeah.
Take their skills, take their knowledge, and then you try to apply it to yourself. And like you said, with Facebook, you get to see that kind of process.
Yeah. You can see good people and how they do it, because they break it down, It's not rocket science. Let's start there. If I fuck up a canvas, I'll get a new canvas. It ain't like it ain't like somebody has passed away, and it's like I gotta sit there and mourn over it. One of my heroes is Bob Ross. He's the first one. You watch his videos and he'll tell you there's no mistakes. You just make it work. That's my motto: be better today than I was yesterday. I even put that on a bulletin board. I would tell my teams, I'd sit there and I'd go, if you feel like you are better today than you were yesterday, you can sign this board. But if you don't. Some kids wouldn't sign it because they didn't feel like they had a good practice. But some would sign it every day, and that's what I wanted.
And I remember, speaking of like writing names down, you want to be really remembered for your art.
I do. I did a self-portrait. I get a million spam emails, all this bullshit. Everybody gets that. But one of them was for these stickers, like, 200 stickers for $19.95, right? I'm like, okay. So I had my little self-portrait made into stickers. And on the back of every picture that I do, I put one of my self-portraits on it. And, you know, I signed Tim O.C. original when I did it, put my sticker on it. You know, what I want is in 100, 150 years, when I'm not even a memory by then. And nobody I know will be alive. Nobody I know will be alive. And nobody will remember me for real. And nobody will remember anybody I know for real. But they could flip my art over and they could look and go, who is that? And then they'll say, well, that's Tim O.C. He drew this picture. So, and if that's enough to spark a conversation about me, or somebody go, who the fuck was Tim O.C.? That's all I want. I will live forever. I will live forever through my art. And that's why I do so much of it, because, you know, I want to someday, somebody, you know, whether I can hear it or not, I want somebody to mention my name in 150 years.
Why is that important to you?
Well, let me ask you something. I'll ask you a question, and the reason, and this just throwing this out there. Your great-great-grandpa, right? Not your grandpa, and not your great-grandpa. Your great-great-grandpa. What was his name?
I don't know.
That's why. I mean, you know, chances are in 150 years, I'll have been someone's great-great-great-grandpa. Great-great-great-great-grandpa, right? But maybe my art will be on one of those kids' wall. And they'll say, my great-great-great-grandpa did that. He was Tim O.C. There's a fucking picture of him on the back of it, you know. He looks sort of like, you know, little Tim over there. You know, I think that we live in a world where, you know, when you're gone, you're gone. Like the Waterson Expressway. It's named after somebody named Waterson. Fuck, I don't know who it is, right? But somebody does, you know. I mean, if you don't do something, then you're going to be forgotten someday. And that worries me. It does.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about art, is that it really does hold a lot of the artist, the time that it was created in, the mindset that people had back then. I mean, we value art from 2,000 years ago, like old Roman mosaics that show
cavemen.
Yeah, cavemen drawings.
They're on the fucking walls in a cave, and people are like, damn, look, there's a couple gazelles. They're throwing spears at them. Somebody took the time to draw that, man. You know, if they would have had a name and knew how to write, they would have signed it. I guarantee you. You know, Mongo, 20 AD, you know, or 2000 BC, right? You know, I mean, I don't know. I just, to me, that's important, that the fact that you're not forgotten.
Yeah, it's kind of like your mark to say that I was here and I existed.
Yeah, true. More than a headstone, because, you know, that's what we're all going to turn into one day, you know. So at least there's something here. Something's left here.
So I know we've talked a little bit about you drawing houses. That's probably one of the things you're best known for. But you do murals for local businesses and other things as well, right?
Yes. I've done, as far as businesses, I've done the 4 pegs on the back in the alley by all the trash cans. But it looks good. It's like a shout out to Schnitzelburg, which is Germantown. In the foreground, you can see the top of hawks, and you know, it's like welcome to Schnitzelburg. It's some pigs throwing horseshoes, but it's 50 foot long. And I've done more as far as for personal people. They'll have me do murals like desert scene on one, and I just did one 2 weeks ago of a ocean scene for a lady with a pool. But I've done numerous murals inside houses that, you know, babies' rooms and in basements and stuff like that. And did one for a guy, former New York Jet, Belay Powell. I guess I can throw names out there. But in his basement, he played at U of L. And then he played for the Jets, and he's got a daughter's cheerleader and son's a basketball player. So I did a mural with a cheerleader, a football player, and a basketball player, and did it in red and black tone, and that kind of stuff. But I really enjoy doing murals. I do. As much as I like doing art, I like going and spending a day and doing a big, because it's so different for me. I do mainly ink work and pencil. I do pastels, and I'm getting to where I'm good at watercolors. I'm starting to do acrylics, but the murals are basically like a house paint, a latex paint or whatever, but my canvases are so much bigger because even you had mentioned all my art's about the same size. Well, that's because I do so many of a certain type of thing, like the houses and stuff. They all need to be 8.5 by 11, and because they're gifting them at the closing, so they need to be 8.5 by 11, a 10 by 13 frame mat, and it's like cookie cutter stuff. So a mural gives me a chance to no borders, maybe, I guess you'd say. It feels good doing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of freeing, like you're breaking the mold.
Yeah, and they pay more. I'm not going to say I'm not a capitalist. I love money. I do. And I love the freedom that my art has given me now. My life changed about 5-6 years ago. I made several changes in my life as far as I think I got myself on a better path mentally, and I'm more focused now, and I'm being rewarded. I truly believe that positivity is a superpower. I do. I don't know if positivity alone will get you what you want, but it certainly, negativity won't. It just won't. I've been around negative people in my life, man, and they are so just butting up against a wall. They don't ever move past that wall. It's like they keep hitting it and backing up and hitting it. Look like a fucking ram on one of them goddamn commercials that you see. They're butting each other's head and they're backing up, then doing it again. Like, man, you ain't doing nothing but giving yourself a headache. You need to straighten your mind out. And again, positivity is a superpower, man. If you believe that you can do it, you can do it. You can. Hell, I'm here. 5 years ago, I would have not been right where I'm at right now. I wouldn't have been talking to you. I wouldn't be hanging in this gallery. I just wouldn't. So I think that as far as training and all that kind of stuff, if you train your mind, you can train yourself to do whatever you want. You really can. I've been around so many athletes in my life. The ones that are truly great are the ones that believe that they're great.
I think you showed that a lot. Because you're 65 this year.
Yes.
Well, you're turning 66.
I will be 66.
So you've kind of completely turned your life into this new career. You were a mechanic for a while. You worked with cars for 30 years. And then you were...
almost 35.
Yeah, 35 years. You were a coach for a while. So art really was never at the center of your thought. It was always kind of a hobby, back of your mind kind of thing.
Yes.
And now in these last few years, you've completely turned around and made it your focus, and you found a lot of success.
Yeah, I made it, I don't want to say a vendetta, because that sounds like that I'm out to get somebody, but it's almost like my crutch. If I don't do my art, I don't feel like I feel like I'm cheating myself somehow. I'm a real obsessive person. When I focus on something, I focus on it. And as stupid as this sounds, this is how my brain works. I come home from work, because I still work a job. Come home from work, get off 5, get in my art room by 5:30, start drawing. And because I have, a whole queue of art that I have to do, because people are commissioning me to these houses and portraits and stuff. So I pick one, start working on it. I'll draw and work on it till 7 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock, I'll stop and reward myself with a root beer. But I don't get that root beer till I work till 7. As dumb as that sounds, it keeps me focused on what I'm doing. Because if I didn't do it that way, I would go, I think I'll take a break and get me that root beer. And I'll go play with the dogs a little bit. I'll go do this. Fuck, I never get anything done. If I'm going to do something, I got to do it, and then I take breaks after I get it done. I mean, it's always how I've been. That's just the way it is.
So originally, when you started to get back into it and get that rhythm down that you're talking about, what was it like putting your stuff on Facebook and kind of connecting with the internet in that way to spread your art out? Was that new for you?
Yeah, and it was scary. I also consider myself a writer. I write, and I don't like write books or whatever, but I write, like, say, my thoughts and stuff, and I'll post them on Facebook and stuff, and my art, I put it on there, and sometimes I do both. In my art group that I have on Facebook, I'll put something out there, and I think, gosh, man, I hope people don't think that I'm self-absorbed or self-gratifying. I mean, because it ain't about me so much as I want to share what I can do. I think everybody's got a gift. I don't care who you are. Everybody has a gift. It's something, whether it's being a great mom or an artist. Great at doing this technical type stuff, audio, visual type stuff. There's a lot of people can't do what you can do, but you got to figure out what your gift is. Then you owe it to yourself to make that gift your gift and as good as you can do it. I truly do think that everybody is special in some way. So, if my specialness is this, the art, and maybe the writing, that's okay. I can deal with that. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and obviously people think so too because you have quite a bit of followers that reach out to you. They do commissions with you.
Yeah, I do. And that's another thing that you put something on Facebook, or a little art out there, a little thought of the day type thing. And then when people start responding to it, not only does it make it worth the time it took doing it, because I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it ain't easy to do art, and it ain't easy to sit there and write. But the gratifying thing is that back to the gift part. You start on something, and then when you're done, you're like, wow. I still get surprised by my art. I put it against the wall and look at it. I'm like, fuck, that's pretty good. If I can make my own self feel like that, maybe that's all that matters. But if I can make one other person feel like that, damn, double the fun, right? I mean, I just like it. And I mean, I do this because I like it, but I also do it because you like it and they like it. My wife will tell you, I like to be recognized. You know, well, again, when you're a lifetime second banana, and I always felt like I was, because everywhere I worked, I became the boss everywhere I worked, but I wasn't the man, because there was always an owner who was like one up on me, or there was always, you just feel like when's going to be your time to shine. Maybe this is it. I mean, maybe my 5 minutes is turned into 5 years. That's what I hope, and I hope it turns into another. I like to say I'm 65. We done talked about that. There's more years behind me than in front of me. I mean, I know that. So I got to take advantage of what I got. I mean, I ain't looking at it like there's no tomorrow, but I mean, next week's a long way away. Let's do today. And so I try to wrap up and take care of as much as I can in these 24 hours while I got it, and then tomorrow will take care of itself.
Yeah, you really stay in the moment and you let your art kind of come from that.
I do. I don't try to make like big plans. What I'm doing today is just as important as anything I'm going to do in a month or 2 months or 2 years. Oh, you can't. poo-poo away the day. Live it, man. That's what I say.
You've been an artist for a while. You've been a father, a coach. There are plenty of artists in Louisville and all across Kentucky who are struggling with like their voice or like whether it's worth it to be an artist or anything like that. I wonder, with all the experience you've had, what would you say to the people that might have been in your situation all those years ago, trying to figure out what their voice is and what to do with their art?
Well, I mean, I talk to people every day that tell me like, oh yeah, I used to do art when I was young, and or I was my kid does art and all that. The main thing that I would say, the key to success in art is do not be distracted. Just do it, because the fact that you're an artist doesn't make you an artist. Art makes you an artist. And if you don't have art to show that you're an artist, you're a wannabe. You're not an artist. You have to do it. You have to paint that picture. You have to draw that drawing. You have to do it. And whether it's Smithsonian quality or something you're going to hang in your garage, just do it. I mean, you can't get better if you don't keep working. Just like anything, the more you do it, the better you get. The problem, I would say, with most artists, like me 10 years ago, is I did not have the time to do art. I didn't take the time. I had the time, but I fucking filled it up with other stuff that was important to me. And while it was important to me at the time, for me to be an artist, I have to produce art. And I have to show people that I'm an artist, because this place, this gallery, a month ago did not know I was an artist. I had to show them what I could do. And then they're like, hey, man, I like it. Let's do it. Let's put it on the wall. Okay, all right. And that legitimizes me that I am on a wall in an art gallery. I'm not on a wall in my mother-in-law's house or my sister's house. I am on a wall in both of them. But that to me feels like, they call me Timmy. All my family, that's just something Timmy did, blah, blah. That's not what I'm going after. I want that dude in Texas to have a whole wall of my shit. I want this gallery to have my stuff. I want people that have never met me say, I want a Tim O'Connell on my wall, right? That's flattering, dude. That is. When somebody reaches out to you because they think you're good enough to grace their walls, that's pretty fucking flattering, really.
When they see the same thing that you see in yourself.
Yes, or even more. I mean, every drawing I draw has flaws. They all do. They don't see that because they don't know what the flaws were, because I worked them in, I did this and that and made them work, and my flaws became art. That's strong right there. Even your mistakes can become something pretty. Again, I keep saying that makes me an artist, but man, that's such a lifetime goal, and it's finally happening. Colonel Sanders he didn't become famous. He didn't start his first restaurant till he was in his late 60s, right? And everybody knows who he is, right? So maybe me and the Colonel got more in common than just I like his chicken.
Yeah, and the white beard.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do it, man. If that's what it takes, then count me in. I'll wear a white suit if that's what it takes.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for coming on. What is your Facebook page? Where can people follow you? How do they get in touch with you to get their commissions? Things like that.
Okay, I am on Facebook under not only my name, Tim O'Connell. That's my regular Facebook page, and you're more than welcome to join that. But I'm under Tim O'Connell's Art and Doodles. That's Facebook. And you can see the art. I usually post something every day, from either the night before or on Facebook, how they have Facebook memories. I'll use one of them because it has all my art that I previously posted. And then I'm on Instagram under Coach, COACH ch_TOC. And again, that's maybe a little bit more personal stuff. And by personal, I mean I might post my fucking dogs, but it has my art generally on there too. And so yeah, I'd love to, have new people join that, and more the merrier.
Yeah. Do you have anything coming up in Louisville or anything that we can look forward to?
Um, no, not right now. But there's always stuff coming up. Louisville is, you talk to some people, they're, oh man, this place is so, we don't have this and we don't have that, and Cincinnati has this and Indy has that, but you know what? This place has. It's like anything.
You got to look for it.
You gotta look for it, and I mean, life is pretty damn boring when you're mad about everything, and you're upset because you ain't found something yet. And the bad part is most people that are complaining about that, they don't look for it. They expect it to hit them in the face, and it's like anything. You got to figure stuff out for yourself. So Louisville is a good place, especially for an artist. And I mean musically, visually, there's a lot of acting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this town. You got to look for it. But as far as me, there's always opportunities if you look for it. So, yeah. I don't have anything going, but I'm sure I will next week. There'll be something happening.
Yeah, and they can find that on your social media.
Oh, yeah. I always post whenever I do something, dude. I blow it up. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, Tim, thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate it, Austin. It's a great opportunity, and man, I hope you guys, it'd be great to see you all be super successful and keep this kind of platform going for people like me, and I hope that we have a long relationship. I do. I'll be back. Famous last words.